made a video of myself dancing all around the world. I want people to see it and think about all the places where they don't live and where they haven't been, and think more about the outside world. I spent the first 6 months of this year traveling to all 7 continents, 39 countries. It was about 76 flights and 100,000 miles. I just danced in each country I went to and put it together in a short little video, which I put on the internet, and it got downloaded about 4 or 5 million times as of now. I was in Vietnam at the time with a friend of mine, and he said, "Hey, you should do that stupid dance you used to do, and I'll film it with your camera." I thought that sounded like a funny idea, so I went and I did it, and it was funny. So I just kept on doing it everywhere I went on the trip. I'd do a little dance just as a memento. At the end of the trip, when I got home, this was in late 2003, I strung them all together into this video and I put it on the internet, and then just something happened. Somebody found it, a friend of mine. I didn't show it to him, he just found it. He showed it to a couple other friends. They thought it was funny. They put it on their blogs, and it ended up on another blog and another blog and another blog. And I woke up one day and 20,000 people had watched the video last night. And I had all these emails. And then the next day, 20,000 more, and on and on. And it actually kept getting bigger and bigger. And so last year was just this kind of uphill ride of things getting crazier and crazier. Cadbury Adams was launching a new product called Stride Gum, and they contacted me and they said, "We'd like to sponsor you to do another trip around the world and make a video for us, and you'll just put the name of our gum at the end of it." And I said, so you're going to pay for me to do this, to make another video? And they said, "Yeah." And I said, "That sounds great. I like that idea a lot." So in December, I left for Antarctica. That was the first stop. Antarctica is both geographically far and in every way you can imagine as far away from anything as I've ever been. It really felt like taking a trip to Jupiter. Everything is superlative, you know, everything is as grand as it can possibly be. You don't just see a mountain in Antarctica. It's an unbelievably huge, vast mountain that nobody's ever climbed before, you know, and the life down there. You don't see a few penguins here and there. I probably saw 20,000 penguins in a few days that I was down there, and seals that are the size of elephants. There's just so much going on there that we know so little about, and it's so grand. So that was, I felt really privileged to get to go down there. I went to the Salar de Uyuni, the massive salt flats in Bolivia, where during the rainy season, it's 9,000 square kilometers of nothing. But during the rainy season, you get 2 inches of water on the ground, and perfectly flat surface with no wind, perfect mirror reflection of the sky, and you feel like you're standing in the sky. So I wanted to start it out and have people go, how's this guy going to be dancing in the sky? And then you walk into frame and you see the puddles and you realize it's water. In the last ice age, I don't know how long, maybe 10,000 years ago, this boulder just fell and got wedged in the chasm. They're sheer vertical rock faces, and this boulder got wedged there. There's nothing holding it in place. There's no secured braces of any kind. It just got stuck there. And they tell me it's not moving.
Filming.
Getting on that rock, the Shrog Bolton it's called. That was definitely the scariest and the stupidest thing probably that I've ever done in my life. I didn't really think through what I was going to do when I got there, and the fact that I don't have very good balance, I'm not very good with heights and all that. I didn't think through what's going to happen when I'm there. I just thought, how am I going to get there? I don't know that anybody's ever actually danced on it before. I may be the first person to dance on that rock because it's a tiny little rock, and when you get in that chasm, you discover there's wind funneling through there. So you've got wind coming at you. It's freezing cold. The surface is not flat at all. It's only a few feet across, and it's rounded, and it's a 3,000-foot drop into the water. So I got on there, and I just kind of did a very restrained version of the dance for a few seconds, and then I got off and nearly had a breakdown afterwards. But it was one of those things where I looked at it, and there was just this moment where something switched in my brain, and I thought, all right, for 30 seconds, I'm just not going to think about the fact that I could very easily kill myself, and I did it. And I'm really glad I did, because it's a fun part of the video. my favorite clip is everybody's favorite clip. The Rwanda shot was a really special one that I'm really proud and honored to have gotten, because it's not a staged moment at all. It's as genuine as it looks like it is to watch. I just felt like I really wanted to include Rwanda in the video. And the idea was just to go out to a town somewhere where there'd be a lot of kids playing and dance. That was all I had. So we found a place, we found a town out east of the capital city in Rwanda, and we drove out there. As soon as you get out of the car, you're a tall white guy in this small Rwandan village, so you're already the center of attention. There were kids all around. I started dancing, and these kids started dancing, and they immediately just went, I want to do that too. It's amazing. Like, I just start dancing, and they immediately all started dancing too. And I've danced in 40 different countries on this planet. I've never had anybody do that. Anybody just go, yeah, that looks like fun. So there's a few kids dancing around me, and then more and more kids just started pouring in because it looked like a fun thing that was happening. And within a few seconds, there was just all the kids in the village crowded around doing this, and it was hilarious. They just had this access to that kind of joy that was immediate. I think it's really important that we, particularly as Americans, that we get out more and become more a part of the outside world, and it sounds cliche, but allow the outside world to become more a part of us. I think there's sort of a fearful reaction where we close in, and that's really dangerous. I think it's dangerous to the world, and I think it's dangerous to our future as a country, in that we're going to become irrelevant if we're not aware of how our decisions are impacting other parts of the world. What I'm dancing in front of is actually it's about a 12-foot propeller of a 500-foot-long Japanese World War II submarine tender ship that was sunk by U.S. bombers in 1944. So it was called Operation Hailstorm. A large chunk of the Japanese naval fleet was in the harbor of this island called Chuuk in Micronesia, and the U.S. knew this, and they had just a massive bombing attack that was sort of the flip side of Pearl Harbor, and they sunk 60 ships in one day in this harbor. And they're filled with coral, filled with fish, life, sharks, everything you can imagine down there. So you go and you dive and you go into these ships, into the hulls, through the hallways. So it is an intense experience going into these ships. It's kind of like going into a haunted house 100 feet underwater with sharks. But the propeller of that of the Heian Maru, that's the largest ship in the harbor, and that propeller is just, it's larger than life. I thought that was a really cool story, and I really wanted it to be part of the video. I want to have home in there. I want to have where I am, and I live in Seattle. And I thought of the Fremont Troll, which is just one of my favorite kind of lesser known parts of the city. I was glad to be able to just put a little piece of where I live in there. I love Seattle. I do feel very much at home here. It's one of the few places where I feel really comfortable. I got back in June and put it up on the internet, and in the first few days, 1 million people downloaded it. And I think at this point, 4 months in, it's about 4 or 5 million downloads. It keeps on going. The dancing video is something that everybody gets. It doesn't, regardless of language, regardless of upbringing. It's it's not a particular kind of dance. I'm just flailing my limbs. Everybody's like, okay, that's stupid and fun. You can't sum up a country or an experience like that in 6 seconds. I tried to make something that was just touched on the surface enough to intrigue people, maybe make people want to find out more. But then it's on to the next thing, because this is a huge planet and there's a lot to do. When you travel and you learn about the outside world, and you learn about yourself in equal parts. You learn what you're capable of. And just knowing that, it changes how you behave, it changes how you approach things and act around people. It gives you a sort of an orientation. I sort of know what the score is more than I did before on this planet that we're on.